Hi, I'm Riz. Let's open some cards together. It's Monday when this video is going up, so I hope you had a good weekend and hope you're ready for the week ahead. Today we return to our normal format of let's open 5 card packs and see what we get inside. As always, if you enjoy what I'm doing here, consider throwing a subscription down below, give me a comment, give me a like. I love talking to you all. It's always a lovely, lovely time. In front of us today, we have 5 packs as usual, one that mystery booster, one of those Outlaws of Thunder Junction, one Bloomburrow, one Modern Horizons, and one more of the Brothers War set booster. I'm just about out of the mystery booster 2 packs, and I have like 3 or 4 left of them. And then after that, I'll be moving on to a set that should give you a ringing feeling in your ear, something like that. We'll see how it goes. Let's go get right into it, though, opening our first pack of the day and seeing what kind of luck we have, seeing what kind of cards we get into. Over the weekend, I had the opportunity to open a bulk pile of Japanese cards. You probably saw that video. I didn't find any huge hits, so to speak, in there, but saw a bunch of cards I hadn't seen previously. Here we go. Number 1, Abolish. You may discard a planes from your hand instead of paying Abolish's mana cost. So 1 and 2, so instead of 3, you discard a plane, allowing you to immediately destroy a target artifact or enchantment. As war raged on, the young mages became more direct in their tactics, often at great cost, sundering the land certainly for the sake of fighting off the enemy armies. Are those the young mages, possibly? Can't tell how big the characters are here, but definitely some destruction for the sake of fighting and defending. Next up, the Angel of Vitality. It seems that white has a whole bunch of angels. I don't know why the angels are fighting for them, but I guess if you get demons in red, angels in white makes sense. Flying. If you gain life, you gain that much life plus 1 instead. Angel Vitality gets +2/+2 as long as you have 25 or more life. I've been asking for a while, are there cards that benefit from having a bunch of life on your player, and this one does. That sounds really fun. I wonder how difficult it is to get to that kind of life. You start with 5 or 20, I believe, is your base amount for yourself, and so only getting +5 more isn't that much, but still. Angel of Vitality. Cool. Next up, Thwart. What do we stop this time? You may return 3 islands you can control to their owner's hand instead of paying Thwart's mana cost. Hey, a second one of these, you don't have to pay your cost, but instead do something else. This is a counter spell in that direction too. Initially, I saw the character in the background here as the evil stepmother from Snow White, but apparently she's on our side instead, doing the thwarting. Tempest Caller, a merfolk wizard. When Tempest Caller enters the battlefield, tap all creatures target opponent controls. Tap all of them. I am the storm, says this character. So you completely negate the enemy's creatures for just 1 turn. And then the Arrogant Vampire, with a fairly old-looking card style. Look how snooty he is with that vampiric demon form behind him. He is flying. A 4/3, and Charming Grace may hide a foul heart. So this seems like a very simple card in some ways. It's just a flying 4/3. Oh, how complex they've become more recently. Also, look at those hands. Those hands give away his secret pretty easily, if not his strange Romanian accent. Reckoner's Bargain. Something is being traded here. As an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice an artifact or a creature. You gain life equals to the sacrificed permanent mana value. Draw 2 cards. Huh. I wonder how well this one works with the Angel, though it is black. Are white-black decks played, and what would that be like? Restricted auctions are held once a year at the Dragon's Lair, the sacred neutral meeting ground of all of the Reckoner gangs. So they're getting something important to sacrifice for the sake of gaining more life. The Fearless Skald. The Skald's a bard character, I believe. Nothing, or hold back, my friends. Tonight, one more time. Hold nothing back, my friends. Tonight we feast in Starnheim. I wish I knew what all the different set names were. This one's from MOM. I'm just going to explain something about what the Starnheim is. This is a dwarf character, though, so perhaps Starnheim is a major mountain fortress for the dwarf people. And there are the giant axes attacking the dragon on the right, I believe, or some other large beast. We then have the Goblin Crater Maker. Some of the most ridiculous armaments out there. What is that tiny little one? It's like a bee bomb, possibly? a bee bomb and some fireworks, and that huge one in the back, looking like a mushroom, but also like a rocket. Sacrifice this thing, and either it does 2 damage to a target creature, or destroy a target non-land permanent. That is amazing. Again, the goblins sacrifice themselves for the greater good. Storm the Seed Core. Distribute 4 +1/+1 counters among 4 target creatures that you control. The creatures also gain vigilance and trample for the turn. In that moment, the fate of countless worlds rested with one dryad and a handful of the bravest Mirrodin had to offer. So MIOM, again, I believe is something of Mirrodin, possibly. We've seen that picture, a whole number of people charging, and someone carrying the nymph, I believe, in the middle there towards the left, charging through to protect that nymph. Feels kind of Lord of the Rings-like. The one person must do something of value, but what's that nymph up to? How does she save us all? After that, we have the Argothian Opportunist. We may have seen this character previously. We see it as a Power Stone target. Power Stone token, rather. It's an artifact with 1 tap, you get a colorless mana. This mana can't be spent to cast a non-artifact spell. So, some kind of way of getting from this creature to some artifacts also. The God Pharaoh's Statue. This is one I've not seen. Spells your opponent's cast cost 2 more to cast. Beginning of your end step, each opponent loses 1 life. Each opponent. So again, good for commander decks, I believe. A Dictator's Infuriating Smirk, an affront to everything Ravnica stood for. Some demon god pharaoh up there. Its tail tightly wound about the top of the monument. I like the idea of slowing down one's enemy's deck. If you have a lot of mana out there on the opposition side, you just make it cost 2 more. That said, 6 is quite the cost to slow down the opposition by 2. Now that I've played a little bit of Magic, and I should say that over the weekend I played a tiny bit of Magic online with the Arena, I have a sense of how mana develops, and 6 feels kind of late. Not sure. Blatant Thievery, what is being stolen this day? For each opponent, gain control of target permanent that player controls. They're able to control... For each opponent, gain control of target permanent that player controls. So you take 1 permanent from each of your opponents? I think that's right. My goodness, such blatant thievery. Centers association with the Sun Empire have taught that dinosaurs, that shiny things are most important. Dinosaurs and crows know how to steal target permanents, creatures, artifacts, all the rest. And then Urza's Saga. So I know what Urza is. That character we've seen in the Brothers' War. They have their own chronicle involving machines and magic and all the rest. So it's a saga. As the saga enters, and after your draw step, add a lore counter. Then sacrifice after 3. So lore counter. First, Urza's Saga gains when tapped, gain a colorless mana. Then Urza's Saga gains for 2 mana and a tap, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gains +1/+1 for each artifact you control. So have a bunch of artifacts and then cast this. And then 3, search your library for an artifact card with a mana cost of 0 or 1, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. My question then is, how do we advance the lore counter? So we add a lore counter, but how do you move it along from 1 to 2 to 3, and then it goes away at the end, I believe. That's my question. If you know, let me know. How on earth do you advance the lore counter? This seems interestingly complex. It's like a little game that one is playing along with playing the Magic the Gathering game. But how does that one work? Urza's Saga. There he is, doing all that math and science. And what's the combination of math and science? Mayance. Smath. Very good. Last one for today in this pack is going to be Multani, Yavamaya's Avatar. And this is a shiny foil future sight. I think it's the first foil future sight I've actually seen in these packs. So, legendary creature, an elemental avatar. 0/0, but has both reach and trample. Multani Yavamaya's Avatar Gets +1/+1 for each land you control and each land card in your graveyard. For 1 and a green, return 2 lands you control to their owner's hand. Return Multani from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so you're able to bring this in consistently, and then again, based on how many lands you have. Seems appropriate for a green-colored character. I want to look into this one some more. I know that often decks have quite a bit of land in them, and so if you end up drawing a lot of land early, as turn by turn goes, you can make Multani stronger and stronger, and then bring it back from the graveyard again, stronger still. I wonder if decks that play this card have even more land in them than the ordinary. Though I know there are ways for opposition to exile cards from one's graveyard, so Multani is probably a pretty good target for that one. There you go, Multani, Yavimai's avatar in a foil form. Fancy. And lastly, we have the silly Sliver of Hope. Slivers you control have hope, which means it prevents all damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures with hope. So the hope mechanic, the one that we have not seen before, possibly to think about. I know that slivers used to be part of the game, or maybe still are. I just haven't seen a sliver card yet. But there you go. There's our Mystery Booster 2, our very first pack of the day. Put that one over here. Next up, the Outlaws of Thunder Junction. And if you see a cut here, it means I was not able to easily open the container. Alright, we're now on to the Outlaws pack. It begins with a token, and so that surely means we start from the back on this one. It's a mercenary at the front, though, doing its gambling and showing off that dagger. From the back, then, first we get Geyser Drake. It's flying. Does it have a cowboy hat on? It has, it's probably a fin of some kind. I would be happy to dress up my dragons in cowboy hats. As long as it's not your turn, spells you cast cost 1 less, so cheaper instants. As mating season approaches, drakes dive through scalding geysers, revealing the brightly colored scales hidden beneath layers of dust. So they're in the dry season and then clean themselves off, looking good for the Sunday dance. Next up, Desperate Bloodseeker, another one of these vampire creatures. When Desperate Bloodseeker enters the battlefield, target player mills 2 card. I learned recently that if you have to draw off of an empty deck in Magic, you die immediately, lose immediately. It's not like some games where you take a little bit of damage each time. So mill decks, very effective to get your opponent down to not be able to draw anything. That said, with larger decks, I think, 40 cards, 60 cards, 80 cards, there's quite a bit to mill through. With no mammals around, some vampires tried to feed on the cactus folk, with horrible results for everyone involved. Oh, poor Bloodseeker, trying to get whatever liquids out of the cactus folk possible. I don't think we've seen cactus folk yet, but man, I can't wait to. Give me a cactus folk. No luck. Instead, the Forlorn Flats enters tapped. When it comes on in, deals damage to someone 1 time, and then you get some light or dark mana. As mentioned before, maybe it's possible to do those together. Should have known that shine on the horizon wasn't water. The Pioneer Journal of Big Ralph out there feeling a little thirsty. Then, Take Up the Shield. The shield does not look much in line with the cowboy setting, but made electrified. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It's undestructible and has lifelink until the end of that turn, so it cannot be destroyed by destroy cards. The front hero is an anvil on which many an unlikely hero be forged. Here we forge not only metal, but also people's spirits. Gotta keep them going. The Omenport Vigilante, has that lovely duster on. Maybe cape of some sort underneath, not a gun, but a giant sword. Double strike as long as you've committed a crime this turn. I still absolutely love the idea of criminality in this game. What a delightful little mechanic added, in which you can steal things from other people or engage in graveyard digging, what's that called? Grave robbing. The Free Striders took to patrolling near Omen Path, protecting new arrivals from the robbers and charlatans prowling for easy marks. I appreciate that. No beating up on the noobs. We then have Jolene, a plundering pugilist. Hits so hard, knocks someone out of their boots. Also a very long neck Cobra horse hybrid mount. I guess good for spitting out poison at your enemy. And look at that arm, look at that punch. Wow, Jolene. Whenever you attack with one or more creatures with power 4 or greater, create a treasure token, and then sack for the treasure. She deals 1 damage to any target. Are we doing this the easy way or the fun way? We may have seen this card before, I'm not sure, but that 4-2 seems so easy to fight. I just want to see Jolene keep on punching and pummeling. We then have the Rise of the Varmints. Create X 2/1 green varmint creature tokens, where X is the number of creature cards in the graveyard. I doubt that squirrels are, I doubt that varmint are explicitly squirrels, so I definitely use this to have my squirrel deck get even stronger than ever before. But Rise of the Varmints. What a great word. We then have our planes. We can destroy this with some earlier card to get some benefit from some earlier card. I don't recall which one. We come into our rarer cards now, I believe. Number 1, Repulse. Return a target creature to its owner's hand. Dissolution's increasing? Are varmints to blame? Varmints are surely to blame for everything going wrong out here. Varmints and vandals. Decisive Denial. Another choose one. Bear Dismayed. Discover a food chain keeps on going. Oh, that poor bear. Yeah, you see, fish eats algae, bear eats fish, dragon eats bear. Who eats dragon? Well, maybe the dragon eater. We'll have to develop one of those. After that, we have that Nexus of Becoming. Something is being created there, but what is it? Probably the Dragon Eater. At the beginning of combat, on your turn, draw a card. Then you may exile an artifact or creature card from your hand. If you do, create a token that's a copy of the exiled card, except it's also a 3/3 golem creature in addition to other types. So only a 3/3, but a golem as well as whatever it was, like a squirrel golem or a demon golem. I guess this is useful for making 1/1s into 3/3s, but at a cost of 6. I must be missing something here. Maybe if you have a card that's not useful in the moment, like if your opposition has a immunity to blue and you have a blue attack spell, you can then turn it into a blue 3/3 golem. Well, I guess not spells, only creature artifacts. Something like that. This is another card I don't see the obvious use case for, but my knowledge of the game is so darn limited. We then have Vraska, the Silencer. Wanted. Legendary Touch, a Gorgon Assassin. What a strange western town this is. Death Touch, so instantaneously kills anything. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, you may pay 1 mana. If you do, take that card to the battlefield under your control. Also, it's a treasure artifact. Okay, the one you've taken over is also a treasure artifact. With sacrifice it, add 1 mana of any color, and no other card types. So you take the opposing powers. If you want to, you can turn them into mana. This is my first time seeing this kind of Wanted poster card. The Gorgon, of course, has the simultaneous draws of allure and horror, but we do like the I think I like the presentation of that very much. A cool way of thinking about legendary creatures. After that, we find ourselves with Embrace the Unknown. What are those strange smiles out there? Whatever they are, we want them. Everyone's gonna die somehow. I'll be damned if I meet my end cowering in some cellar. Go out there to face the storm. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of next turn, you may play those cards. Also, Retrace. That is the one I need to look up. Retrace. Maybe use it again somehow. Another card then is Imp's Mischief. Change the target of target spell with a single target. You lose life equal to that spell's mana value. Alright, so you can instantly on your opponent's turn cast this spell to stop some creature being targeted or an artifact being destroyed, but you lose life for doing it. Rude Rascal robs Rube's robes. Right. We have one more in this one, and it is the Tiny Bones Joins Up. Alright, a number of these Joins Up cards. We saw Annie Joins Up before. When Tiny Bones Joins Up enters the battlefield, any number of target players each discard a card. So one says 3 people do, or 2 does, I believe. Whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, any number of target players each mill a card and lose 1 life. It's going to be the greatest heist of his unlife. Oh, tiny bones. Are your bones tiny? Are you tiny? Or is the combination of the two? That's a nicely fooled card as well. Only costs 1 mana to get them out there. I wonder if there are a bunch of very inexpensive legendary creatures. Is it possible to get lots of 1/1s out there to force the loss of life? Now, of course, one can't cast 20 of them in a turn under normal conditions, so it'd still take a while probably. But Tiny Bones, welcome to the team. Lastly, our mercenary on the other one side has on the other side a human rogue. Poison, no doubt. Looking tricksy. With that, we now put this pack away. More to look through at some point. Now, the Bloomburrow play pack there. On the front, we have a little mouse ready to defend her homeland. What do we find inside of this one? Well, we find definitely one "Why don't you play the game online" card. Feel free to scan the QR code. I get nothing for it, but you can play online more easily. Might of the Meek. The tiny mouse fights as always. We've seen this one before. Thornplate Intimidator. Is that an ocelot? A rat? It's a rat with a hat, I believe. When this creature enters, target opponent loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. This kind of mechanic must feel really awful when it happens to you. You got your nice little setup going, humming along, and then nope, you must destroy part of it. Sorry, thanks for playing. The Baker's Bane Duo. That raccoon is an adorable little acorn hat, I guess, and looking hungry for the pie. Shore Up. Target creature control gains 1/1 and hexproof until the end of turn, and untap it. Yeah, this is one of those cases where I suspect if you have a card that comes onto the board tapped, because of some of its additional powers or additional card text, you then untap it and use it right away for whatever you want to do. Are there any cards that remove summoning sickness off of one's own cards? Because untapping and summoning sickness are not the same thing, I believe. If you know, let me know. The Warren Elder. So many bunnies. Creatures you control get +1/+1 for 4 mana. That's a little expensive, but a 2 mana 2/2. Is that like right in line with expectations? I'm not sure. Sazakap's Brew. A fish. Gift a fish. You may promise the fish. As additional cost, discard a card, and then a target player draws 2 cards. If the gift they were promised, a target creature you control gets 2/0 until the end of a turn. So you gift a fish if you want to. You then throw away a card, and someone draws 2 cards. So if you don't give the gift, you're then able to just discard a card, draw a card for 1 and 1 red. Independently of fish gifting and that +2/+0, the strikes me being kind of a weaker card, maybe. His cost for drawing seems kind of not great. I'm not sure, though. The Fountain Port Bell. Its town crier once saved the townsfolk from predation by a rotten-mouthed viper with only the bell. Ringy-dingy, let's come defend ourselves. The Husk Burster Swarm. Not a tree. Possibly? What's the swarm here? It's a creature, elemental insect, 6/6. There's a bunch of insects all together going to embrace someone. I want no part in that. The spell costs 1 mana less to cast for each creature card you own in exile and your graveyard. It bursts out of the husk of your defeated creatures. 6/6. Hard to imagine how anyone would even attack a swarm of enemy or a swarm of insects. A lot of air in that. The Rabid Gnaw. Oh, this poor character. Look at those teeth. Magically imbued, but not so good for eating anymore. Unbeknownst to the hosts, the foraged seeds they served at dinners have been touched by a calamity beast. The results were disturbing. Target creature gets +1/+0, then it deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. I guess you can target something, but immediately takes a big bite out of the opposition. Honored Dray Leader. Trample. When Honored Dray Leader enters, put a 1/1 counter on it for each other squirrel or food you control. I just now noticed, Squirrel Warrior. So the more squirrels you get, the stronger you get. This one I'm going to put over here with the general. Probably can't quite see that in zoom, or in focus rather, but that is the let's look at squirrels pile. Gonna be good. Brambleguard Captain. The beginning of combat on your turn, a target creature you control gets +X+0, where X is its current power. So this is not a one-time, is it? It's every single turn. You can check in with the captain and see how he's doing. We sought adventure and found calamity. Forward, so maybe both with courage. I now want to play a mouse deck also. I'm guessing a scroll deck and a mouse deck will play in very similar ways, but I just want to play decks where I like how the card art looks. Nothing too ugly, thank you. A Bywater Barterer. A Raccoon Rogue. Rare creature. This trinket has saved my hide more times than I can count. I couldn't possibly let it go for 4 acorns. 3/3. There's the island card. And lastly, Pollywallop, a giant strike we've seen previously. We'll see who croaks first. Very good. A rabbit and a please play our game online. Like a lot of those cards, simply for what they look like, independently of how they play. Bloomburrow is always a joy to open. 2 packs remain, about halfway through the video. It's actually been half an hour already. I went very slowly today. I don't mind that so much, but let me say at this point, if you are enjoying yourself, consider going ahead and throwing a subscription down below. Just push that button. No cost to you, but it does help me quite a bit. Also, as I mentioned, we do have a special surprise coming up for the first video after 100 subscribers. We're at 76 right now and getting ever closer. Collector Booster it is. For the Modern Horizons 3, we have the token right here, so we'll start on this side. And these are bent a little bit. I know that the current foiling that's used on the cards does cause a bit of a, I think it's called pringling, like the potato chip pringling, kind of bending in on itself. Eldrazi Repurposer. The card has no color. I almost admire the ability to avoid waste. Almost, says Tazri, the allied commander. When an Eldrazi Repurposer dies, create a 0/1 colorless spawn where you can sacrifice it for more mana. The Snapping Void Craw, an Eldrazi turtle, and all these Eldrazi beings of chaos looks like. Once a delicacy, turtle soup is no longer served in Defelia's inns. It's all gone bad somehow. The Petrifying Meddler. Again, no color. Again, Eldrazi. It's like a big Eldrazi pack. When you cast this spell, tap up to 1 target creature, but a stun counter on it. 4/5 with reach for 5 total mana. Is that good? It has a lot of arms. That's what counts. Which Eldrazi's next? Malevolent Rumble. So not an Eldrazi, maybe, but something horrifying is coming out there. What emerged from Turn Timber was even more twisted than the forest itself. Reveal 4 cards from a library. You may put permanent card from among them into your hand, wrestle in the graveyard, and create an Eldrazi. We're still doing Eldrazi thing. Does it continue? It does not, thank goodness. Essence Reliquary. Return another target permanent you control and all auras you control attached to it to their owner's hand. Activate only during your turn. So along with returning artifacts to one's opponent's hand, if you control them, I guess this also allows you to recast artifacts that have a special playing bonus. When you first put it out, get something, it comes to your hand. Very good. It safeguards our most precious memory, our most precious treasure, our memories. Elspeth. I don't quite know who that is. Her name comes up quite a bit, though. The Grim Servant, a zombie warlock. You lose 3 life after searching your library for a card with mana value less to or equal to your devotion to black. Devotion to black. I have no idea what that means. Devotion to black. Another word we need to look up this time. So retrace and devotion I need to understand in this game. Maybe you like stand up and sing the black theme song 3 times in a row. The Priest of Titania. Some nature-worshipping druids. Gain green mana for each elf on the battlefield. Titania rewards all who honor the forest, making them a living part of it. So she turns them everyone into mana. Got a Plains then, with the Eldrazi marching across it, I believe. And then Unholy Heat. Yes! Let's go and find a way to burn down the Eldrazi. The devils use fire, and why shouldn't we? Again, very Ghostbusters looking like there. Charitable Levy. Non-creature spells cost more. Whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, put a collection counter on Charitable Levy. If there are 3 or more, sacrifice it. If you do, draw a card. Then search your library for a Plains card, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Oh, okay. So draw a card, and get a Plains card, and opposition cards cost 1 more. Sorry, not opposition, anything that's not a creature. And it all gets paid to you, us. The Party Thrasher, a lizard wizard. Lizard wizard, fun to say. Somehow it says, want to see a trick, and lights people on fire. The 1/4 allows you to have non-creatures you cast from exile have Convoke. The creatures you tap while casting. Wait, each creature you tap while casting a non-creature spell from exile pays for 1 or more mana of that creature's color. Well, those are words. What is this? Unelect the Fused Atrocity. Do you have pie on your face? Is it a shell, possibly? So another Eldrazi legendary creature. This one looks much sillier than some of the others. Possibly because I can't stop seeing as pie on their face. Whenever you play an Eldrazi spell, you may pay 2 mana. If you do, copy all spells you control, then copy all other activated trigger ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copies. Copy all spells, then all activated triggers. So can you reuse them for free? Huh. There's a lot of mana fun up top there. I'll look into how this card works, because the idea of being able to recast all of one's spells and all of one's activations when a character comes in seems really, really wonderful. Not a great looking character though. The Emerald Medallion. What is this card? Emerald Medallion. Green spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for the cost of 2. I think number 1, I like that. Number 2, that seems incredibly strong to add to the Squirrel deck. Ugh. Maybe we just leave this card here a little while longer. Maybe you're part of the Squirrel deck. We'll see. Anything vaguely green or helping green is over there. We found our horror show card of the this video. Chthonian, I believe. Nightmare. The eyes, the teeth, they want you all. Oh my goodness. So there's various kinds of graveyard interplay there. And the horror. I should just play a bunch of black cards that look like this in order to upset my opponent and hope they give up that way. After that, oh my goodness, this is one of those textured cards. Yeah, I don't know if you can see, but that's the textured foiling there. I had one of these previously. Solitude, a creature of a 3/2, an elemental incarnation. When Solitude enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 other target creature. That creature's controller gains life equal to its power, and you can exile a white card from your hand as you evoke it. Those are a bunch of words I do not know, but always so cool to see the textured foil there. What will we do with this card? Maybe we'll build a white deck around it, but Solitude, textured foil. Flash with lifelink. Very, very lonely, but maybe will serve us very well indeed. Fantastic. Lastly, a Phyrexian Germ into a zombie army card. Look at them all pushing past each other. All they want to do is eat your brains. We have 1 more pack to go! And so many nice cards already today. I like it when I pull a card and immediately say, oh, I know how I'll use that. I think starting with the idea of a Squirrel deck has really helped. I should probably start thinking about a second kind of deck would be fun to make, in case my opponent doesn't have any forests and our forest walk becomes useless. Last pack of the day, a little bit more of the Brothers of War. I think I have only 1 more pack of these, but I've been considering going down to a card shop just to buy more of them. Uh-oh, there may be another cut here, let's see. There's surely no troubles at all. I just had to take a quick cut for no good reason, even a little bit. This one has an art series on the back. So where do we start then? That appears to be a common card. I think, well, We'll start here and see what happens. Not quite sure the orders. Number 1, the Art Series card. That is Urza, I believe. Is that what it says on the back here? You are Urza, the Planeswalker. So the long-time lore character, one eye red, one eye green. Did you jam the Infinity Stones inside of yourself? With such power to move around the rocks. All of these parts of his armor must have signification. But what? Then a forest. Basic little forest then. Then the Airlift Chaplain. A flying character. When they enter the battlefield, mill 3 cards. You may put a plains card or a creature card mana value 3 or less from among the cards milled this way into your hand. If you don't, they then get a +1/+1 counter. It becomes a +2/+2 for 2 and 1. Or allows you to put a plains card or creature card that's cheaper in your hand. A good way to go digging for something you want, or just a little early buff on them. The Ravenous Gigamole. Gigimole. Sounds delicious. A mole horror. Yeah, don't look up actual moles' mouths in the actual world, because they do look somewhat like that. It is absolutely striking. When they enter the battlefield, mill 3 cards, right? 2 mills in a row. You put a creature card from the milled cards in your hand. If you don't, put a 1/1 counter on the Gigamole. So it does seem like the exact same card as the prior one, just a stronger version. You then have the Dwarven Forge Chanter. Pay 2 life. When you do this, every time it's targeted, you pay 2 life. And when you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +1/+1. Okay, so... No, I misread. I'm sorry. Ward is not that you yourself pay it after playing this card. Instead, it's that the opposition has to pay the 2 to target this character at all. If not, just sit out there and targets, does some damage on its own. The Aeronaut's Wings, more technology. The equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has some flying too. Alright, volunteers rarely question why the Airborne Battalion always seem to be recruiting. Oh no, it's an important duty, and you look awesome until you fall to the earth. The Fall of Krug! Choose the opponent's destroy target land that player controls, deals 3 damage to that player and 1 damage to all of their creatures. As retaliation for the Warlord's ambush at the Peace Summit, Mishra leveled Yotai's capital city. Oh boy, see a bit of an overreaction perhaps. But go for the throat! Boo! Destroy target not artifact. When Titania, that's an elf goddess, elf priestess, offered peace, Urza merely turned her down. Mishra made her people pay for the insult. So Mishra seems to be the crueler of the brothers, perhaps. An obstinate Baloth, like a Balrog possibly. You gain 4 life. Then, if a spell or ability an opponent controls causes you to discard it, put it onto the battlefield instead of putting it into the graveyard. Okay, so if you have you must discard some card in your hand, and suddenly, surprise, here's the Baloth. Crazy cool. If only it weren't green. Anytime I say, oh, that card seemed like to be a fun one to build a deck around, it always ends up being green. The Audacity, in fact. Enchanted creature gets 2/0 and has trample. When Audacity is put to the graveyard, you draw a card. Bravery outlives the brave. We remember what you've done this day, O strange robot creatures. The Chromatic Star, an artifact. You sacrifice it to add 1 mana of any color. When it puts in the graveyard, you also draw a card. Chromatic Star belongs in Terraria. We then have Hurkle. I'm sorry, your parents gave you that name, you're a master wizard, but Hurkle is a terrible name. At the beginning of your end step, if you cast a non-creature spell this turn, reveal the top 5 cards. For each card type among the non-creature spells you've cast this turn, you put a card that type from among the revealed cards into your hand, but the rest of them bottom your library randomly. So, if you've cast non-creature, you look at the cards. Then, for each kind of card you've already cast, you may put a card that type. So if you've cast an instant, get an instant. If you cast a creature, etc. And then put the rest away. Hurkle the Master Wizard, a 2/4. Last one for now, Take Flight! The Aerodots find their way to the sky. Everyone's cheering. Though neither brother cared to admit it, flying the ancient Thopter their last happy moment together. We complete with a blank card. You can use this card to represent a card without a magic back. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? My favorite card, 10-10 free. That seems like a fair card, no doubt. All right, folks, I hope you had a good time. There goes our video. Hopefully your week begins well on this lovely Monday. As before, I would appreciate it quite a bit if you to interact with me below in whatever way you want to. Thanks for liking the video. Thanks for liking me. Thanks for hanging out. And we'll see you again in another video real soon. Goodbye, everybody, and thanks again.